degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Coach Wang. Today we're going to be covering probably one of the most important topics that I've talked about on this channel, and that's actually going to be the methods of training that you should be using when approaching Ultimate or any fighting game in general. Definitely something that you'll hear quite a bit, generally from like the mid-level players, is that, you know, generally they'll be complaining that they've put so much time and effort into this game, but yet they don't feel like they're getting anywhere. They feel stuck, or just that, oh, the game's not for them, or just something really stupid like that. Or, you know, something legitimate like, hey, I've been putting like, you know, 6 hours a day or a week, well, not a week, that's nothing, like, you know, well, 2 to 4 hours a day every single day practicing this game, and I'm not seeing any results. So one of the most very important things about training that everybody needs to realize is that there's a difference between doing the work and then doing the work effectively. The best example I could give is, like, you know, your math classes. Like, let's say you just, like, let's say, you know, you're back in 4th grade, you have all the multiplication things, or you're doing like calculus or something like that, and you just look up the solution, you copy it down, whatever. Now you go take the test, you don't have the solutions there, and you're just completely fucking lost on what to do. You didn't really use your time effectively to learn what you need to do in order to pass it. Instead, you just kind of blindly copied it, and that's what a lot of people do when practicing. They just kind of blindly go through the motions without really thinking about how to apply themselves, how to apply it to the game, and just better themselves. They just do it because they're told to, and they assume just by doing it that they'll get better. That's never the case. You have to learn application and how to use your time wisely. Like, spending 5 hours doing one thing may not be effective as learning why you're doing it and then just doing it for like 30. Like, that's definitely a very real possibility. So the main thing that I want to break training down into is into 3 distinct categories. It's going to be training by yourself with no console, or just training without a console. That's one thing. Training by yourself with a console, and then training with a partner. These are kind of like 3 key zones that you need to keep in mind when you're training. So the first thing I want to talk about is training with no console, by yourself, or with somebody. And what do I mean by that exactly? Well, doing what you guys are doing right now. Just going out, watching videos, watching content, and just like expanding your knowledge further on, you know, on what the game is, or whatever topic that you're interested in at that moment. So for here, if you're watching these videos, you're probably learning on just how to improve yourself better when you're going out to be playing this game. That's one thing. The other things that you can do is, like, you can watch videos that explain things about characters. So I have my analysis videos. You can watch things like that. So that way you can learn what can these characters do, and how do I play as them, or how do I fight against them. Also, just like different attributes too. Just learn just more key details about everything. That's like a huge important part of training that nobody ever really thinks about, but they know it's something that they need to do. Like, a lot of people just consider this research, but in a lot of ways it is training. So just giving you guys an example, things that you should be doing with this is, you know, definitely be watching matches. You know, Ultimate has a lot of footage out now. Of course, there might be there's going to be a day 1 patch that we already know, and it might greatly affect the way that these characters play out. But this is a methodology in training. So one of the main things I want to talk about before we go is, if you guys are unfamiliar with who I am exactly, basically my main job in Smash right now is to no, it's not what I want. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the main thing that I do now is I'm actually like a professional commentator. I've commentated like several big events before, and then I mostly do the things in my local. And the way that I've improved a lot is mostly just by watching. I don't ever compete anymore, but, like, you know, the times that I do play, I've just noticed my neutral game's a lot better. And the main reason why that main thing I attribute to that is just literally commentating and watching these things endlessly. The more and more that you watch, like, especially in Smash 4, it was kind of a big problem, was that there's just a lot more patterns and things that you're going to recognize by watching footage. Like, with people that play just certain characters in Smash 4, you're kind of limited on how to play them optimally. So you could always have a pretty good idea of what type of things to do. Or if these type of players exhibit these certain habits, then you know how to look out for these punishes more. The more footage that you watch, and the more that you train your eyes and mind and say, like, oh, I'd be doing that right now, the more that you're going to be able to recognize these situations. So when you're watching footage like this, watch it as if you are actually playing. So let's look at this here. So for the namesake of this, like, I play Roy in basically every single game. So I'm going to play this from Roy's perspective because I at least understand him. So in this case, what you want to do when you're doing this mode of training is like put yourself in the shoes of Roy and think about what you want to do. So in this case, you're going to be fighting a big body. In Smash 4, you generally have to look out for grabs. In this case, I don't know what the range is on Ridley's standard grab, but you know, if he goes for his command grab, you're going to be able to beat it out. Now that your aerials are safe on shield, so the biggest thing that you're going to look to do is just kind of overwhelm him in his space and then get those things out here. So I'll just kind of go through my thought process here. Okay, so I've got him off stage. I want to move forward and cover that ledge area. Fortunately, he moved behind him, so I don't really agree with the options that he did there. He gets caught out there. He didn't really put out a wall of aerials right there, so that way he could have stopped it. Okay, there I needed to tech in. But the thing is, if he had teched in, then I could have gotten nair or anything like that. But since he went for that forward air, then I would get screwed. So ideally, he'd probably get there. And just try to think about the options that they're learning here. Like, think about what you would do and what they're doing, and if what they're doing is better or what you're doing is better. So here, this is a huge Smash 4 mistake, is not going off stage and edge guarding, especially somebody like Ridley's recovery right here. Like, for here, I would tell myself, run off there, because I have no reason to be afraid. I could literally just kill him right now, but right now he's doing nothing, but kept himself safe to charge the F smash. So that was kind of a bad placement right there, just because it was really easy for Ridley to go up and get him right there. So yeah, now you want to think about how you're going to cover ledge, and look what he does. So, alright, he did jump side B, so that's definitely going to be an option I'm looking out for when he's recovering here. So, he just did a standard get up right there, so mix it up there. So we now know standard get up and jump side B are two things that he's going to do. So if he does a lot of standard get up, that's how you know they're going to have a lot of Smash 4 patterns. And it seems like he likes to throw that out pretty liberally. So definitely the biggest, yeah, right there. The biggest thing that you want to keep in mind when fighting this player is that I want to stay at a distance where I can react to that side B, because it has a long start up to it. And the other thing too, he's done standard get up down tilt twice, so I need to keep that in my head now. So let's see how many times we can predict Ridley from here. Ooh, okay, so that was just a mix-up in his face. I probably would have helped shield there and then let go. Okay, let's see if he goes off stage and edge guard. There, he does the side B again, but this time he wasn't ready for it. But that's something that you could easily react to. So now that you're watching this, like as the Ridley player, at this point I'd be like, okay, this guy's too slow to react. He can't do anything. Look at that. Those are the things I'm gonna be telling myself if I was playing as Ridley. Oh god, why did he go for neutral B? Think about like why he's going for neutral B in that case. So if he's used to playing Roy in melee, that might be the reason why he does that, because Roy doesn't have any strong aerials in melee. So going for an eruption like that gives me the idea that maybe he's thinking in terms of that. Because otherwise there's really no reason to go for it. I hope that isn't too loud. So in this case, doing the ledge options again. That time he did get up attack, so we mixed it up a little bit. Because before he was doing standard get up down tilt. But that get up attack just made it much easier to punish, if anything. Oh, there. That was a bad roll away there. That fair was not safe. He could have jumped out backward. Okay, and he doesn't go to punish it again. Like, honestly, as this Ridley player now, I would not respect any of this Roy's options at all. I'm going to throw out every single BS move that I possibly can, and I feel like I'm going to hit him. My range is ignorant. That down tilt's actually really good. He just runs up smashes. Like, see, look, now this Ridley's pushing button in his face because he knows he can. So like, let's think about what those Roy's doing wrong. He's not approaching properly. He's not pressuring properly. He doesn't know what his confirms are. He doesn't know when he can punish. Oh, that really might be dead. No, he's good. And also, yeah, he's just going for really weak ledge options. Like he could just jump nair, which would keep him out, or jump fair, and then he can. I think it auto cancels off a short hop now, or if not, you can jump right before you land. So you easily have a lot of things you can do. But Ridley's in a bad spot. I don't know why he upbeat right there. But yeah, see, look, he's just able to catch so much by going for that side B. He let him go a little bit early. I think he could have held that out and then been fine. But yeah, then he just did good platform coverage there. So from this, you're able to figure out what this player is doing wrong. He put himself in a lot of bad positions, overcommitted, and never reacted to punish early. Like, he had so many opportunities to kill him right there, and he just never did it. So when I watch matches, those are the kind of things that I look out for, and I want you guys to train yourself for that. Look at the neutral game, insert yourself into one of these players, and think about what you would do and see what they're doing and see what they're doing better. Generally, you're going to be watching pro players doing this because you want to learn how they think. That's the main mindset that you want to get into. But then compare to that how you're thinking. Did you choose the same options as them? If you did, great. That means you're probably doing something right. But if you're both choosing the same options that are getting you bodied, think about why that's getting you bodied. So that's kind of one of the main things. The other things that you need to look into too is, of course, check your frame data, check all the speed things. So like if you're analyzing characters, analyze your character, know their speed values and everything, know how this can apply to your character and what you can do. If you want me to talk more about these things like running speed, initial dash speed is actually something huge. Like even a lot of slower characters like Wolf and Falco, they have a really good initial dash, so they'll actually be pretty quick when they're in close quarters. So things like that, walk speed. Just learn your properties of your characters so that way you know how to properly use them when the game's going to come around. Just try to learn everything that you can about your character, and then the characters that are giving you a hard time, try to understand them as much as you can. Do your research. This is a part of training, and this is a part of getting better. Just research. Don't treat it like a class because you'll get bored, but if it's something that you truly love and you just want to absorb everything, do these things. And like when things are ready, like the Smash calculator, I know they're setting this up right now. It's not 100% ready yet, but yeah, because like I think they still need to get the damage values in for characters. But yeah, like you can also do these things, so you can test it out. Hey, did this kill? Did this not? They even have like a visualizer, so you can see like the blastings of these different stages. Okay, do they actually have? Oh wow, they have it for every stage. Oh, cool. All right, no, I think those are all the 3DS ones. But yeah, no, there's just a lot of tools where you can test out these different scenarios and figure it out. You can even go back and watch your videos. You can add the scaling and everything, and just see what options could have been better in these scenarios. So this is what you do for studying when you don't have a console, know nothing. And even when you do have a console, make sure you do this type of work so that way you can do better. If you're watching this video, it means you're probably doing this already, but go further. If you're not going further, just do it. You'll be better for it. Next thing I'm going to talk about is actual gameplay. So there's two different types of training that you do with gameplay. Alright, sorry about that. Also, ignore the title that was underneath before. This is all about training. So let's talk about training by yourself. So when you're training by yourself, the main thing you want to focus on is movement. Movement's just kind of the most important thing that you can work on. Just because there's a lot of times you're going to be talking to like a lot of lower level players and be like, man, my character didn't do what I wanted it to do. That's not the character's fault. That at the end of the day, that's completely your fault that your character didn't do exactly what you wanted to do. Like, if you're playing a platformer like Mario, the way that the stages are built up there is that you learn the mechanics and then progressively gets more harder and harder, and then you have to make sure your skills are mastered in order to do that. Smash, treat it the same way, except, there's no set levels. There is no nothing. There is no guidebook or blueprint on how to actually, get better at this game. So you have to do everything yourself. So, you want to master movement because that is literally the most important thing you can do. Before you even when you pick up a character, somebody actually asked me this question is, what's the most thing you can practice to learn a character? Movement. Every character moves differently. Learn what their movement options are, and then just how they feel in the game overall, because if you can't move with them, you're sure as hell ain't gonna do anything with them. So practice that first, then learn their gimmicks and learn what you're supposed to be doing with these characters. So generally you want to get a good feel for the game. So if you want to get a good feel for the game, pick an all-arounder character first, because that way everything will be balanced. And then when you're fighting against people, you'll be able to figure out what type of playstyle you like more. Think about, I want to do projectile zoning, or I want to go deep, or I just want to do hard-ass routine. So that, you can go back and watch my playstyle video if you want more info on that. But yeah, so what do I mean by movement? So practice running around, practice your RARs, your short hops, full hops, or buffers. Those are things that you need to do. Your pivot grabs, learning your distance on them, your dash grabs. Smash 4, you had extended dash dancing. In Ultimate, you're going to want to know your actual dash dancing length. So that'll be important. Definitely, in Ultimate, you're going to want to learn how to dash cancel, like turn around down smash, things like that. Practice the moves that are important for your character that you need to get 100% of the time. Those are the type of things. Like, I remember a while back I heard somebody say, one time I fucked up a RAR in a match, so I practiced it 100 times until I got it right. And I wanted to get it 100 times right in a row. One of the things that you'll notice is if you watch a lot of top players play, when you look at their controller, they're making really hard committal movements. It's because they've ingrained that to be the way that they'll get their motions out. Like, they know the hard movements with their hands to make sure that that movement comes out like 100% of the time for them. So it's like, it's not like they're doubting their hands at all. Like, their hand knows exactly how to do it, and then they're gonna commit to it with like their entire beating. So you want to get to that level of comfort where you do not even need to, like, you don't even want to be focusing on your character. You want to be looking at your opponent and being able to know what your character's going to be doing while looking down. So that way you can just judge the spatial recognition immediately. So it's like, you know where your character is on the stage, and then you're just watching what your opponent's doing the entire time. So that way you can just react to them. So hugely important thing there. Movement's the most important thing. The other thing too is you can practice certain matchup scenarios. So in Ultimate, their training mode did improve quite a bit. So, but like, you know, in here you can practice DI. You can set it if you got the training mode not pack. So that way when I do down throw fair, I can practice hitting it with DI. In that case, that wasn't true because we saw that he could air dodge out of it. And that is one of the nice things that you can do in Ultimate, is that you can force them to buffer air dodges. So that way you can know if your combo is true or not. And then, yeah, make sure you learn the tech for the game. I know B reversing and wave bouncing is back in the game, so if that's going to be important to your character's movement, learn how to implement that technology. And the other thing too that you can do is you can practice like certain setups on characters. So like, let's say I set go far away. Like, let's say I set Ryu to do full mod SDI. So mash attack. So like, let's say, oh, I want to practice Ryu mashing the air out of an attack, and then okay. So now when I know I do down throw and I see him do that, I can just up it. So those type of situations, if you can set them up with either a controller or if you can set it up in the bot programming and Smash Ultimate, do that. Practice these scenarios, like practice these common scenarios that you need to do. I don't know if you can set role options for characters in Ultimate, but if you can, that's something you do. If not, that's something to practice with a friend. Just practice these scenarios over and over again until you get them out. Or just, you know, practice it with yourself. The other thing too is like, if you know like there's like a certain amount of landing labs that they're gonna do, practice them doing that in those certain situations too. They, you know, like let's say you want to practice punishing like cloud form. You know, see if you can get a bot to constantly spam that option, and so that way you can just kind of punish them for it. And yeah, that's mostly it for practicing by yourself. Another way that you can practice movement that a lot of people don't talk about is just play against the CPU. Like, just, you know, have them attack you, have them be level 9. Because, like, you know, the CPU is not going to be choosing the smartest options in the world. So that can actually get you, that can help you get ready for just, like, really unpredictable options. But, like, you know, just set them to attack, and then, you know, they'll naturally do different get-up options, so you can punish them like that. You can practice what punching different get-up options. I know in Smash 4, a huge issue that they had was they would always air dodge like right before they hit the ground if you threw out an attack. So it was really easy to juggle them. I don't know what the situation is in Ultimate. Hopefully they change that. But yeah, like you could easily practice these ledge options when you're fighting CPU. Let's say that was a little bit too early. But yeah, you can practice. There's things to practice, and you can also practice to make sure your combos are as true as possible. There, I obviously missed it because the percentage is too high, but you are able to practice things on CPUs even if you don't have a training partner. Good things to keep in mind. So next up, when you got somebody, yeah, I think that's basically everything to cover with training by yourself. But I'll switch it back over to the computer. So, you know, if you have like your own training partners and all that, you know, just play matches, watch sets together, try to learn as much as you can about each other that you possibly can. Fight each other, give yourselves new ideas, play different characters too. Know how to play different characters so that way you guys can help train yourselves for different matchups. And you know, when you play these different characters, you'll just understand how to fight them better as well. So it's basically only to your benefit to learn how to play more than one character. So that way with your training group, you guys can be like more effective with each other and helping out. And it's like, oh man, do you guys know how to like fight this one thing with Inkling? It's like, yeah. When I do, you know, like when I do fair, most characters just crouch and then they hit me with down tilt or something along the lines of that. Like, just have people that can give you the ideas that you need to help cover like have all your bases covered when you're trying to practice for this game when you're going into tournament. The other thing too is like, you know, when you fight an opponent, you'll fight against humans. They'll make human errors, they'll make human mistakes, or they'll just make like human things. Like, let's say, okay, I know if I down throw them, it's not true, but everybody always air dodges in this one moment because that way they can at least avoid the kill. So that way you're just waiting for the air dodge so they avoid the kill, but then this guy just decides to down you out of nowhere. That's something that, like, you know, you don't really expect, but you need to understand how to fight that type of capability, and that's something you'll only get by fighting people. So when you go out to events or when you're fighting with your training group, try to fight as many different people as you can. If you keep fighting the same people over and over again, you will learn nothing new unless they're going out and learning new things. But the thing is, every player always has a preference to the way that they like to fight, and generally they're pretty uncompromising with the way that they want to change that. With changing themselves, so that's just something that you need to keep in mind. You need to make sure you're always challenging yourself, and the people you're fighting are challenge you in different ways. Those are kind of the most important things to look out with people. And then also, if you're training with players too, if you need them to set up a specific scenario that you can't set up in training mode or just by yourself with 2 controllers, then you know, ask them to come and help you out. Generally, a good friend will be able to do that. Sometimes some people in tournament will help you do that. Another thing that you can do is join a character Discord or a Discord in general, where that way they can help lab out specific things with you online. It's definitely an option available to you. So yeah, don't ignore that. Like, if you live in the middle of nowhere, remember, you can go online and get these things to happen, to just help contribute, plan out, and everything. And that way, you know, if you connect with people online, then hey, if you guys happen to go to a tournament together, you'll know people to train with and room with and just all that good stuff. So that way you won't be alone if you go out somewhere. So, pro tips. But yeah, no, that kind of covers everything. So the biggest thing is this: make sure that what you're doing is actually like beneficial to you in some way. Whether you're learning something new, you're forming new habits, you're learning how to get rid of your old habits, or you're learning how to adapt. You want to make sure that everything you do is contributing in some way, shape, or form to your overall performance. Don't ignore training by yourself. Like, let's say you have your tech down and everything, just watch as many videos as you possibly can if you can't play at all. Like, learn how these other people think. Try to get in their head as much as possible, and then you'll be able to like just kind of recognize these scenarios instantly when you just fight these type of players in tournaments and whatnot. And then, you know, if you have a buddy that's having the same issues, just, you know, and they ask you for help, that way you'll be able to help them a lot more too as well. And if you do these things as well, you might even be able to get better at commentating too. So yeah, no, so that's gonna kind of do it. So remember, train by yourself. The glorious thing about that is you just need a cell phone or a computer. Watch all the videos you need. Take notes. You know, notes are pretty important. If you're training by yourself, movement's the #1 priority that you need to do. Then you practice your character-specific things, and then you can practice certain setups. And then afterwards, you know, when you're fighting people, put your ideas to use. And then if you need them to test out specific things, then ask them to help you out with that. But yeah, no, that's gonna do it. That is my thoughts on effective training. So guys, tomorrow I do believe it is going to, let me just double check and get the facts for you right. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to do my update video on Incineroar. Then Wednesday will be my Wolf and Isabelle update video. Though actually I think tomorrow I might do a double feature. I think I'm going to do Incineroar and Pit. Nobody's really been talking about Pit, and there's some things I want to touch upon with him, just because he's kind of more of an ignored character. Yeah, so Incineroar, Pit tomorrow, then Wolf, Isabelle, and then Thursday, which is the midnight release day, we're going to be doing the pre-release retrospective, because honestly, within this 1 month alone, a lot of opinions have changed drastically. And then it's Ultimate time. We're finally in the final stretch. Hope you guys found this video helpful. You know, let me know in the comments if there's anything special that you guys do to train that you would like to share with the people that watch this video. Anything helps. And then, you know, if you're interested in forming a training group, just, you know, post it in the comments below, and you might find some people on here that want to help you out. So with that said, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. So take care.